Ryan, so Title IX reads, no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or the subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity receiving federal financial assistance, which I'm sure you're well accustomed to. What does that mean regarding Katy ISD and this complaint?
Sure. So Title IX is this federal law that prohibits school districts like Katy ISD, public and private alike, from receiving any federal money if they discriminate on the basis of sex. And under this law, sex discrimination includes creating a hostile learning environment. And the Supreme Court recently confirmed that discrimination against transgender people is sex discrimination.
So do you think this student group has merits for their complaints? And do you think this will move forward?
I do. I read the complaint. I think it's strong. So Katy ISD's policies violate Title IX in several ways. Most strikingly, by requiring K through 12 teachers and other school staff to out transgender children and adolescents to their parents, even if the teacher has no idea whether the parents might abuse the student when they get home from school. This forces students to hide who they are. It makes our schools terrifying instead of welcoming. These policies absolutely create a hostile learning environment based on transgender status and therefore based on sex. I mean, in my estimation, it looks like Katy ISD wants to have its cake and eat it too. Katy ISD wants to violate federal law while enjoying federal funds, but that's not how our system works. This year, Katy ISD received over $48 million in federal funds. If Katy ISD wants to continue to receive those funds in the future, it needs to rescind its discriminatory policies.
It seems like everything you said there that the Supreme Court said, yes, discrimination against transgender people is against federal policy. And then what you just read there seems so everything you said that this group, by filing this complaint, there's there.
I think that's right. Yes. So the Department of Education receives about 10,000 Title IX complaints annually, and those complaints regularly result in school districts just like Katy ISD voluntarily agreeing to make policy changes, train teachers and staff, or allow for increased federal monitoring. But if the school districts refuse to voluntarily comply with the law, the Department of Education can refer the school district to the Department of Justice to initiate litigation against the school district to terminate its federal financial assistance.
And how long does this typically go? I know I read on the Office of Civil Rights for the Department of Ed that first, once they get the complaints, they'll look through it, then initiate an investigation if they need to. Beyond there, do you have an idea of a timeline?
We really don't know. It could take anywhere from a couple of weeks to a couple of months to a couple of years. It really depends on a host of factors. One of the biggest ones being whether or not Katy ISD recognizes and admits that its policies are discriminatory and whether or not it's willing to work out a solution that's probably the best for the teachers, the students, and complies with federal law by voluntarily rescinding its policy.
Hmm. And for the folks who will watch it later, what is your expertise?
So I'm a law professor at South Texas College of Law, Houston. My expertise includes civil procedure, labor and employment law, and LGBTQ plus legal issues.
Perfect, Ryan. Lastly, the 35 mil, where'd you get that number from?
The 48 mil. So I pulled up the current fiscal year budget for Katy ISD. And that 48 million, it's a little bit over 48 million are their receivables from the federal government in this fiscal year.
Perfect. Awesome. Anything else you'd like to add that I may have failed to ask?
No, I don't think so. Thank you so much for doing this.